Welcome to Greenland. Greenland, a land where ice and fire forge an otherworldly realm, sits cradled in the North Atlantic. Despite its name, 80% of this massive island lies buried under ice, some of it over 100,000 years old. The world's largest non-continental island has fewer people than a small town. Only 56,000 souls call this frozen giant home. As we embark on a journey through Greenland's most awe-inspiring natural wonders, we'll explore a world where ancient ice meets volcanic shores, where the sun refuses to set for months at a time, and where some of Earth's oldest living creatures swim beneath icy waters. But before we dive into these incredible destinations, let's start with some fascinating facts about Greenland and what makes it so uniquely captivating. Greenland holds the title of the world's largest island, covering an impressive 2.16 million square kilometers, 836,000 square miles. Despite its massive size, it has one of the smallest population densities globally, with only about 56,000 inhabitants. Roughly 80% of its surface is covered by the Greenland Ice Sheet, which is the second largest ice body on Earth after Antarctica. This ice sheet is massive, reaching depths of up to 3 kilometers, 1.9 miles, in some places, and containing approximately 10% of the world's freshwater reserves. If it were to melt completely, global sea levels would rise by about 7 meters, 23 feet. The name Greenland originated from Viking explorer Eric the Red, who established the first Norse settlements around 985 CE. Legend says he deliberately named the ice-covered land Greenland as a marketing ploy to attract more settlers. The Norse colonies thrived for nearly 500 years before mysteriously disappearing in the 15th century. The last written record from Norse Greenland describes a wedding at Hvalsey Church in 1408. The island's history includes waves of different settlers, from the earliest Paleo-Eskimo cultures to the Thule people, ancestors of modern Inuit, and European colonists. Today, about 90% of Greenland's population is Inuit or mixed Danish-Inuit heritage. Greenland experiences some of Earth's most spectacular natural phenomena. During summer months above the Arctic Circle, the midnight sun creates 24-hour daylight for weeks or even months. In winter, the opposite occurs with polar nights of continuous darkness. The country is one of the world's premier locations for viewing the northern lights, Aurora Borealis, with Kangerlussuaq offering over 300 clear nights annually for aurora viewing. Greenland also contains the only permanent ice sheet outside Antarctica and is home to unique geological features like the underwater limestone columns of Ikka Fjord, found nowhere else on Earth. The Greenland Ice Sheet. The Greenland Ice Sheet stands as a monument to time itself, a frozen ocean stretching beyond the horizon in every direction. Only Antarctica's ice sheet surpasses it in size. This massive ice body covers 80% of Greenland, holding within its crystalline depths the secrets of Earth's climate history spanning more than 100,000 years. This frozen colossus contains 10% of all fresh water on our planet. In some locations, the ice plunges an astonishing 3 kilometers deep, equivalent to stacking 9 Empire State Buildings end to end. But this ancient frozen giant is under threat. Each year, 267 billion tons of ice melts away enough water to fill 107 million Olympic swimming pools. Scientists watch with growing concern as meltwater pours into the ocean. The implications are sobering. If this entire ice sheet were to melt completely, global sea levels would rise by 7 meters, potentially submerging coastal cities worldwide. The ice sheet isn't merely a natural wonder, it's a climate sentinel, recording Earth's past while warning of possible futures. Standing on this ancient ice, you can't help but feel both its timeless permanence and its startling vulnerability. Ilulissat Icefjord. There are few places on Earth where you can witness the raw power of ice in motion. Ilulissat Icefjord, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in western Greenland, is one such place. Here, the Sermitsiaq Glacier, one of nature's most unstoppable forces, flows toward the sea at an astonishing pace. This massive river of ice advances 40 meters every single day, nearly half a football field. No glacier outside Antarctica moves with such relentless speed. As it races toward the ocean, it births 10% of all Greenland's icebergs, over 35 billion tons annually. The icebergs calved from this glacier are true behemoths, many towering higher than office buildings, their brilliant blue spires reflecting in the dark Arctic waters. When these giants break free from the glacier, the sound is unforgettable, like thunder splitting the sky or artillery fire echoing across the landscape. The Inuit people named this place Ilulissat, meaning simply icebergs. Standing at the edge of the fjord, watching these massive ice mountains drift slowly out to sea, you witness one of nature's most dramatic spectacles, the birth of giants. Eqi Glacier. They call it the calving glacier, and for good reason. Eqi Glacier offers nature's most dramatic ice performance, one that engages all your senses. Unlike most glaciers hidden in remote, inaccessible regions, visitors can get surprisingly close to Eqi, close enough to feel its power resonating in your chest. When house-sized chunks of ice fracture from the glacier's face and crash into the waters below, the experience is overwhelmingly physical. First comes a deep, primordial crack that splits the Arctic silence. Then follows the thunderous roar as thousands of tons of ice collapse. The splash can reach 50 meters high, sending waves rippling across the fjord's surface. What makes this experience even more precious is its fleeting nature. Scientists have documented Eqi as one of Greenland's fastest retreating glaciers. Each calving event you witness represents not just a spectacular natural phenomenon, but a glimpse of a changing world. The ice crashing into the sea today may be the last of its kind, making each visit to Eqi both magnificent and poignant, a reminder of nature's power and fragility intertwined. Scoresby Sund. Imagine a labyrinth carved by ice over millions of years, a network of waterways so vast it can be seen from space. This is Scoresby Sund, the world's largest fjord system, extending 350 kilometers inland from Greenland's eastern coast. Scoresby isn't a single channel, but rather an intricate maze of waterways branching like veins through the rugged landscape. Towering cliffs rise sharply from midnight blue waters, some rock walls soaring more than a kilometer straight up from the water's surface. The scale defies comprehension. Icebergs the size of city blocks drift through passages so enormous they make these frozen giants appear tiny in comparison. The colors here shift constantly as Arctic light plays across ice and stone, deep blues, crystal whites, and rich earth tones, creating a palette no artist could fully capture. Few humans ever lay eyes on Scoresby Sund's remote beauty. Those who do often describe feeling like the first people on Earth. In many ways, this landscape appears exactly as it did thousands of years ago, a rare window into our planet's ancient past, preserved in stone and ice. Tasermiut Fjord. Rock climbers call it the Arctic Patagonia, a fitting name for the vertical paradise of Tasermiut Fjord. This 70-kilometer slash in Greenland's southern coastline features some of the highest sheer rock faces found anywhere on Earth, drawing elite climbers from around the world. Dominating this landscape is the legendary thumbnail, a 1,300-meter vertical granite face that rises directly from the water's edge. To grasp its scale, imagine a wall 4 times taller than the Eiffel Tower, with nothing but smooth, unbroken rock from base to summit. Only the world's most skilled climbers attempt these formidable walls, battling extreme weather, remote location, and technical difficulties that push human limits. Even if you never touch the rock, simply floating through this fjord by boat feels like entering a realm from fantasy. The massive cliffs create their own microclimate, with clouds forming and dissolving around their summits like ethereal crowns. Tasermiut represents nature at its most dramatic and imposing a place where the vertical dimension dominates, and humans are reminded of their tiny place in the grand scheme of Earth's geology. Nuuk Fjord System. Just beyond Greenland's capital city lies a hidden world that few outsiders ever experience: the sprawling Nuuk Fjord system. This network of waterways covers over 2,000 square kilometers of pristine wilderness, creating one of the most striking contrasts in the Arctic. The juxtaposition is remarkable. One moment you're in Nuuk with its colorful houses and modern amenities. 30 minutes by boat later, you're surrounded by untouched wilderness that appears unchanged for millennia. What makes this system extraordinary is its diversity. In a single day, you can witness hanging glaciers, islands dotted with Arctic wildflowers, rugged mountains, and hidden coves where waterfalls plunge directly into the sea. History permeates these waters. The fjord contains ruins of ancient Inuit settlements and the first Norse colonies in Greenland. Standing among stone foundations built by people who struggled to survive in this beautiful but harsh environment centuries ago creates a profound connection to the human story. These silent stone witnesses remind us of both human ingenuity and nature's overwhelming power, lessons written in rock that remain relevant today. Qeqertarsuaq, Disko Island. In a land dominated by ice, Qeqertarsuaq stands apart like a black sheep in Greenland's white flock. This volcanic island breaks all the rules that define the rest of the country's landscape, creating an environment that feels transported from another world. Black sand beaches stretch beneath towering basalt columns. Natural hot springs release clouds of steam into the frigid Arctic air. Lush green vegetation thrives in abundance, a stark contrast to the mainland's icy palette. No wonder they call this place the Grand Canyon of Greenland. The island's unique character stems from its volcanic origins, making its geology completely different from the rest of Greenland. The dramatic black basalt cliffs formed when molten lava cooled rapidly against ice, a collision of fire and frost that sculpted this strange, beautiful landscape. The island's unusual warmth creates a microclimate where plants and animals flourish that couldn't survive elsewhere in Greenland. Walking here feels like you've discovered an alien world, one where fire and ice have forged an unexpected alliance. Ikka Fjord. Beneath the surface of Ikka Fjord lies one of Earth's strangest geological phenomena, a forest of underwater limestone columns rising from the seafloor like the ruins of an alien city. These Ikka columns form through a process found nowhere else on our planet. Cold freshwater springs, loaded with minerals, seep up through the seafloor and meet the fjord's salty waters. This meeting triggers an immediate chemical reaction, creating limestone columns that grow upward at surprising speeds, sometimes several centimeters per day. Some of these underwater towers reach 20 meters high and can be several meters thick. Perhaps most astonishing is how recently these formations were discovered. Scientists first documented them in 1995, making them one of Greenland's newest recognized natural wonders. Divers who visit this underwater forest describe it as otherworldly. The columns range from brilliant white to rusty orange, creating an underwater landscape that feels more like science fiction than reality. Ikka Fjord reminds us that even in our well-explored world, extraordinary discoveries still await, sometimes hidden just beneath the surface. Uunartoq Hot Springs. Imagine soaking in 38 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit water, while massive icebergs float by in the distance. At Uunartoq Hot Springs, this surreal juxtaposition is reality. Located on an uninhabited island in southern Greenland, these are the only hot springs in the country warm enough to bathe in year-round. The contrast defies logic, your body submerged in steaming water while your eyes take in a landscape of ice and snow. The springs are completely natural, heated by geothermal energy bubbling up from deep within the earth. Archaeological evidence suggests Vikings knew about these waters over 1,000 years ago. Norse ruins found nearby indicate they valued these springs just as visitors do today. Perhaps the most magical time to visit is during winter, when you can float in perfect warmth while the northern lights dance overhead. The experience of relaxing in hot water while surrounded by one of Earth's coldest environments creates a sensory contrast that visitors describe as life-changing. Uunartoq stands as a perfect symbol of Greenland itself, a land of extreme contrasts where fire and ice coexist in surprising harmony. Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. The sky comes alive in Greenland. From September through April, green, purple, and blue lights dance across the Arctic night like celestial spirits performing an otherworldly ballet. While science explains the aurora as solar particles colliding with our atmosphere, no technical description can prepare you for the emotional impact of watching the sky shimmer and pulse above you. 3 factors make Greenland one of Earth's premier aurora viewing destinations: minimal light pollution, perfect geographic position under the auroral oval, and remarkably clear skies. In Kangerlussuaq alone, over 300 nights annually offer clear viewing conditions an astronomer's dream. The Inuit people created rich mythology around these lights. Some believed they were ancestor spirits playing a game with a walrus skull. Others saw them as pathways to the afterlife. Standing beneath the dancing lights, it's easy to understand why ancient cultures believed they were witnessing something supernatural. The lights move with what appears to be conscious intention, swirling, pulsing, and changing colors, as if responding to some unheard cosmic music. In those moments, the boundary between science and magic blurs, and even the most rational mind can't help but feel a sense of wonder. Midnight sun. For weeks or even months during summer, the sun refuses to set in Greenland. This isn't just extended daylight, it's a complete rewriting of how time feels. Above the Arctic Circle, the summer sun circles endlessly in the sky, never dipping below the horizon. The world bathes in perpetual golden light, with shadows lengthening and rotating around you like the hands of a giant clock. The midnight sun transforms Greenland's landscapes. Disko Bay's massive icebergs glow with warm amber tones throughout the night, creating scenes that photographers travel thousands of miles to capture. The constant light energizes plants, which grow with surprising speed during the brief summer months, covering the tundra with colorful wildflowers. The endless day affects humans too. Locals say you can feel the boundary between days dissolving. Time becomes measured by activities, not darkness. It's common to see people hiking, fishing, or socializing at 2 a.m., their bodies operating on a different rhythm than the rest of the world. Visitors often report feeling simultaneously energized and disoriented, caught in a beautiful limbo where time seems to stand still while the world around them remains in constant motion. Musk Ox Safari in Kangerlussuaq. They appear as if they've stepped straight out of the Ice Age because they have. Musk oxen are living fossils. prehistoric survivors that once roamed alongside woolly mammoths and saber-toothed cats. Kangerlussuaq hosts Greenland's largest population, over 10,000 of these magnificent beasts. Despite weighing up to 900 pounds, these creatures blend perfectly with the tundra landscape, making spotting them a rewarding challenge. Their adaptation to extreme cold is unmatched in the mammal world. Their Qeqertarsuaq undercoat, the world's warmest natural fiber, is 8 times warmer than sheep's wool, allowing them to withstand temperatures as low as -70 degrees Celsius, -94 degrees Fahrenheit. When threatened, musk oxen employ the same defense strategy their ancestors used against prehistoric predators. They form a circle facing outward, with calves protected in the center. This ancient behavior, unchanged for thousands of years, provides a direct connection to Earth's distant past. Watching these Ice Age survivors move silently across the tundra, you're witnessing living history, creatures that have outlasted entire ecosystems and adapted to one of the harshest environments on our planet. Marine life wonders. Beneath Greenland's icy waters swim some of the most extraordinary marine life on Earth. First, meet the narwhal, the unicorn of the sea. These elusive creatures sport spiral tusks, actually elongated teeth, that can grow up to 10 feet long. Despite being featured in art and literature for centuries, narwhals remain one of science's most mysterious marine mammals. Then there's the Greenland shark, which might be the oldest living vertebrate species on our planet. These giants can live over 400 years, meaning some swimming today were born before the United States existed. Their flesh contains naturally occurring toxins that, when fermented, become hakarl, a notorious Icelandic delicacy that smells strongly of ammonia. Each summer, humpback whales journey to Greenland's waters to feed, putting on spectacular breaching displays against backdrops of floating ice. The contrast of these massive, graceful animals against the harsh Arctic environment creates unforgettable moments for lucky observers. What's most remarkable about Greenland's marine ecosystem is how it thrives in such extreme conditions. The cold, often ice-covered waters support a complex food web where life has evolved unique strategies to survive, proving once again that life finds a way, even in Earth's most challenging environments. Hvalsey Church ruins. Stone walls stand silent against the backdrop of a pristine fjord. These aren't just any ruins, they're the last chapter of one of history's great mysteries. Hvalsey Church represents the best preserved Norse ruins in Greenland, its walls having withstood 600 bitter winters. Built in the 14th century, this stone church was once the center of a thriving Norse settlement. The last written record from Norse Greenland describes a wedding held here in September 1408. After that silence, what happened to the Norse settlers who built this church? Their complete disappearance remains one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. Climate change, conflict with Inuit people, isolation from Europe, all theories, but no definitive answers. Standing among these ruins, you can't help but feel connected to those who came before. The same mountains they saw still rise above the fjord. The same Arctic wind still whistles through the stone archways. Their story ended here, but the landscape remains unchanged, a time capsule waiting for visitors to contemplate its mysteries and perhaps find new clues to an old enigma. Arctic Circle Trail. Imagine a path where you might not see another human being for days. The Arctic Circle Trail stretches 160 kilometers between Kangerlussuaq and Sermitsiaq, crossing some of the world's most pristine wilderness. No roads, no settlements, just you and raw Arctic nature. The trail passes through every type of terrain Greenland offers, from lunar-like Arctic desert to lush valleys, from mountain passes to crystal lakes. Hikers typically take 9 to 11 days to complete the journey. staying in basic huts or tents along the way. Each day brings new wonders: herds of musk oxen grazing in distant valleys, Arctic foxes darting between rocks, or golden eagles soaring overhead. The trail's remoteness is both its challenge and its reward. Cell phone service doesn't exist here. You're truly disconnected, a rare experience in today's hyper-connected world. Those who complete the trek often describe it as life-changing, a journey through both external wilderness and internal landscapes. The Arctic Circle Trail offers something increasingly rare in our modern world: genuine solitude in nature, where the only sounds are the wind, your footsteps, and your own thoughts. Sermitsiaq Mountain. Every great city has its icon. New York has the Empire State Building. Paris has the Eiffel Tower. For Nuuk, Greenland's capital, that symbol is Sermitsiaq Mountain. This 1,210-meter peak dominates the skyline, changing its appearance with each season and weather pattern. When conditions are right, clouds form around its summit, creating what locals call Sermitsiaq's hat, a white crown hovering above the peak like a supernatural phenomenon. More than just a geological feature, Sermitsiaq holds deep cultural significance. It appears in art, literature, and even gives its name to Greenland's national newspaper. For many Greenlanders, this mountain embodies their homeland: beautiful, resilient, and standing proud against all elements. Hiking to the summit rewards adventurers with panoramic views of the Nuuk fjord system. From this vantage point, you understand why the Inuit chose this area for settlement, and why, despite all hardships, they never left. Sermitsiaq isn't just a mountain, it's a constant presence in Greenlandic life, a landmark that helps define a nation's identity. Northeast Greenland National Park. Our incredible journey concludes with a destination that very few people on this planet will ever witness with their own eyes: the most exclusive national park on Earth. Northeast Greenland National Park. Covering an astonishing 972,000 square kilometers, this breathtaking expanse is not only the largest national park in the world, but also one of the most remote and mysterious places ever designated for protection. To put it into perspective, this park is larger than most countries, including France, Germany, and even Pakistan. It's nearly the size of Egypt, yet almost entirely untouched by human hands. Established in 1974 and later expanded in 1988, Northeast Greenland National Park was created to protect one of the most unique and fragile ecosystems on the planet. This region is so remote that no roads, towns, or cities exist within its boundaries. In fact, there are no permanent human residents at all. The only people who ever set foot here are a handful of researchers stationed at isolated scientific outposts, Danish and Greenlandic military personnel monitoring the vast icy coastline, and a few extremely fortunate visitors who managed to secure the rare and tightly controlled permits required to enter. Inside the park, nature thrives as it has for thousands of years, with minimal interference. Towering ice cliffs, glacial valleys, and frozen fjords paint a surreal landscape that shifts dramatically with the seasons. Polar bears roam freely across the sea ice, hunting for seals. Musk oxen trudge through the tundra in small herds, their thick fur shielding them from the biting Arctic winds. Arctic wolves, elusive and ghost-like, silently stalk the snow-covered plains, while walruses haul themselves onto the ice, basking in the brief rays of sun. Everywhere you look, the scale of nature is humbling. Massive glaciers, some stretching for hundreds of kilometers, carve their way through the mountains and thunder into the sea in dramatic displays of calving icebergs. The fjords, pristine and silent, hold waters so clear and undisturbed they reflect the sky like glass. These are places where you can literally hear the sound of snowflakes hitting the ground. That's how silent and pure this environment remains. But the park isn't just a wonderland for Arctic wildlife and extreme landscapes. It's also a place of deep historical significance. Hidden within its remote valleys and coastal zones lie archaeological sites that tell the story of Greenland's earliest human settlers. Ancient tools, remnants of shelters, and ceremonial objects have been found, offering insights into the lives of those who dared to inhabit this unforgiving land thousands of years ago. Yet, what truly sets Northeast Greenland National Park apart, even more than its size, remoteness, or wildlife, is its untouched purity. In a world where almost every corner has been explored, mapped, developed, or disturbed by human activity, this park remains a rare exception. There are places within its borders where no human has ever walked, where the snow lies untouched season after season, and where the rhythms of nature unfold exactly as they have for millennia. This isn't just a national park, it's a living time capsule. It represents a snapshot of Earth as it once was, raw, wild, and unforgiving. A place where nature is not tamed or controlled, but respected and revered. For those lucky enough to visit, it's a chance to witness a version of our planet that most of us will never experience. An Earth where humans are guests, not masters. And in that, there's something deeply humbling and inspiring. At a time when we face global environmental challenges, climate change, deforestation, species extinction, Northeast Greenland National Park serves as a powerful reminder of what's at stake and what still remains to be protected. It reminds us that there are still places where the natural world leads the way, where ecosystems function without interference, and where the balance of life continues undisturbed. This park isn't just Greenland's treasure, it's the world's shared legacy, a symbol of what conservation can achieve when done right. And perhaps, it's also a vision of the future, a future where humans learn to coexist more respectfully with nature, taking only what we need and preserving the rest for generations to come. So, as our journey across some of the world's most incredible national parks comes to an end, Northeast Greenland National Park leaves us with a final lasting impression, a place where Earth whispers in its purest voice, and where those who listen are forever changed. If you enjoyed this journey into the wild, remote heart of Greenland and the unforgettable stories we've shared along the way, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. We'd absolutely love to hear your thoughts, reactions, or even personal experiences if you've ever traveled to the Arctic or dream of doing so one day. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more exciting travel guides, incredible natural wonders, and eye-opening adventures. There's a whole world waiting to be discovered, and we're just getting started. Stay curious, stay adventurous, and as always, safe travels.